Good afternoon. It is Sunday the 12th of December and a big day in the Christmas kitchen now. So things are a little bit later than normal this year. It's just kind of our timing's gone. But what I've got here is I've got all the ferments now and they're all done. So I've got two sets. The first lot went in on the 16th of November, so they're about 3 and a bit weeks. And the second set went in on the 23rd of November. So they're about 2 and a bit weeks. And anything over 2 weeks is good, so that's all cool. So what I've got today is just all the bits and pieces. So those are my ferments. I need to sort all those out. I'll do those separately. Key ingredients are cider vinegar. This stuff, xanthan gum, which thickens stuff up. This is garlic powder and a whole bunch load of jars. Best place to get jars, there you go, a bit of advertising for Wilko. Is Wilko, about £4 for 12, which I think is really good value. And that is basically all the kit. So what we're going to do this afternoon, I've got my little recipe book here reminding me what to do stuff, is we are going to drain these off. I'm going to keep some of the brine because that's really spicy, and then I'm going to put all of the mix along with 200 mils of the brine and 200 mils of the cider into the big blender with a large tablespoon of garlic powder. Mix it all up, and I'm going to separate out into the bullet mixer, which is a far more choppier, high speedy mixer. Add about a quarter tablespoon xanthan paste maybe to thicken it up, or just as much as I need to thicken it up, and then put it in the jars. Now generally I can get about 6 jars out of a 2 litre Kilner jar, so I'm hoping I'll be able to do the same with these. So a bit hit and miss as to how many we're going to be doing. Let's just take a look at some of these. So let's just pick one out randomly. Just going to put the phone down a sec. Right, so I'm going to take out the airlock. God, and it smells fantastic. Put that somewhere. Unscrew the lid and let's have a look inside and see how we're doing. Right. Oop. Inside, oh, it smells amazing. I got this little weight that was keeping everything down, and then we've got all of that. Right, so the brine will be a little bit cloudy, which is perfectly natural, and that's all good. So that one's looking lovely. I'm just going to rest that on there for a minute. You can get a little bit of yeast in on top of these, and as long as there's no nasty gribbly bits, you're okay with that. Right, so I'm going to go through these and start mixing. Cheers. Bit of a work in progress then. So I've done the first jar, and just thought I'd go through the methodology again. So what I've got here is I've got the contents of one of the jars. I've put that in there, and I've kept the brine, which is this, that came out of the jar, 200 milligrams of that into the big mixer, along with 200 milligrams of the cider vinegar, a big heaped teaspoon of garlic powder. So that's all in the big mixer now. So I'm going to put the big mixer on. Oh, there you go. And this is just going to give it a big chop, if you like. I'm going to go well mixing, breaking out the big onion, all the big ingredients really, just getting smashed down. So look at that. So it should be like a pulp. Yeah, there you go. So there's a nice kind of pulp. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put that in two. I'm going to split that in two. Then I'm going to do 2 loads in the bullet mixer, which I'll show you. And with that, just a little drop of xanthan gum to thicken things up. And what it'll give me is, this is one of the whole. This is the first one done. This will give me this. So this is the finished sauce, which I can then divide and put into all of the different bowls. So that's basically how it works. Okay, we're at the end of a very long day. We've finished, so here we go. This is the sum of all our work. This is what the year's been all about, getting these chili sauces together. Big variety. Some of them are quite bulky, so these are the big containers I did. and some of them are just only knocking out like 4, which is cool. Something new for this year, pH meter to test the acidity. I've yet to find out what the exact level should be, but I've got all the levels written down. So all good. It's been a very busy Sunday afternoon, but there's quite a haul. Luckily I had some spare jars because I've used an awful lot of them. So the next thing to do will be label these up, lay them down over Christmas and in the new year, give a few away to friends, and then I'll do the usual sale that I do sometime next year for whichever charity. So that's all cool. This is probably the penultimate episode because once they're all labelled up and done, we're done for the year. Cheers. Okay, we're at the end of a very long day. We've finished, so here we go. This is the sum of all our work. This is what the year's been all about, getting these chili sauces together. Big variety. Some of them are quite bulky, so these are the big containers I did, and some of them are just only knocking out like 4, which is cool. Something new for this year, pH meter to test the acidity. I've yet to find out what the exact level should be, but I've got all the levels written down. So all good. It's been a very busy Sunday afternoon, but there's quite a haul. Luckily I had some spare jars because I've used an awful lot of them. So the next thing to do will be label these up, lay them down over Christmas and in the new year, give a few away to friends, and then I'll do the usual sale that I do sometime next year for whichever charity. So that's all cool. This is probably the penultimate episode because once they're all labelled up and done, we're done for the year. Cheers. Good evening, it's now Tuesday evening, and as you can see, the chilies are all bottled up, labelled and ready to go, and I think there's 110 jars or something like that. So I'll just show you what we got. Nice and simple. I've just got a program on my computer for printing off labels, so I'll run through what we got. So as you know, I made 3 big batches, so we had an awful lot of 3 different types of chili, and so I picked 3 tanks that there were an awful lot of during the Second World War. I've gone for tanks this year because I love tanks and I love chili, so it's a perfect combination for me. So this is the Sherman, so lots and lots of Shermans in production Second World War. Carolina Reaper, which is the hottest chili in the universe, with some raspberries to give it a bit of a fruity taste as it kills you. This is a very, very hot chili, quite delicious, and I've got quite a few of those. So that's the Sherman. Another tank mass produced by the Russians during the Second World War, the old T-34. Trinidad Scorpion, so a little less fiery than the Carolina Reaper, but still very challenging. Again, with raspberry, the fruits really do make a difference in these things, actually give them flavour rather than just heat and make them palatable. But again, this one is rated very hot. And then the third of our bulk crops, another tank, so the old Panzer IV, the only German vehicle that was in service from 1939 all the way through to 45 and was constantly upgraded. And you can see quite a later war variant there. So Panzer IV, we've got the Carolina Reaper, again super hot, with summer fruits this time. So rather than going for kind of the berry fruits, this is stuff like mango and pineapple. Again, very, very hot, but you get this lovely fruity taste on top of the heat. We're then going down into the smaller batches, and undoubtedly one of my favourite British tanks, the beautiful old Churchill. So this is the red habaneros. I'm really pleased with these. I hadn't been able to grow red habaneros last year, so I'm really glad to have grown them. I've only got 8 of these. So this is red habanero and mango. Again, the flavours really complement each other well, and this is hot rather than graded as very hot. That'd be quite a nice one, and it's got a really interesting colour as well because of the mango in there as well, so it's giving it quite a nice orangey colour. Next along, back to Germany now, good old Stug. So this is there's 8 of these again. Lovely colour on this, as you'll see again. So this was winter berries. It's like a mix of winter fruits with the orange habaneros. The last one being the red habaneros. And I wasn't able to grow red habaneros last year, so I'm really excited about this one. They're lovely. Moving along, we're going a little bit earlier war, and we've got the lovely British Valentine. So this is the paper lantern chilies, which are actually quite fearsome if you take them raw. But this is mixed in with mango, and this is a really nice, mild to mid kind of flavoursome chili sauce. Really was quite a pleasure, this one. And again, because of the mango, you get this lovely kind of golden orangey yellow. There's only 7 of those. We're going early war again. Now, Queen of the Desert, this is a beautiful old Matilda, just an absolute cracker. So this time we've gone paper lantern, but we've gone with winter berries this time. Gives it a slightly deeper flavour, gives it a little more complexity, and just darkens it down again. So again, lovely colour. Okay, moving on. Now this is the beast. This really is the beast. So these are the Bucjolokia, which are the second strongest chili that I've grown this year, with the Carolina Reapers, the Boots, and the Trinidad Scorpion in that order. So this is Boot with apple. Now this is an absolute bugger, and that's why I chose the Royal Tiger, or the King Tiger as you like, as its logo. Really was fearsome, this one, when I was making it, and this, yeah, that's why there's only 5, but it's a little bit special. I'm going to go into the USSR now. KV-1 tank. This gave the Germans a big old shock when they invaded, because they didn't realise that the Russians had anything quite this well armoured. So this is your KV-1. So again, we're back with the Boots now. Very hot chili. I did this with quite a lot of blueberry. This really breaks the flavour down nicely, and the two really complement themselves well. 5 of those. Moving along, and again we've got an earlier war tank, the British Honey, or the American Stuart if you like. Now these are their T-pan chilies. I didn't have an awful lot of these this year, but I had some yellow drop chili left over from last year in the freezer that I put in. This makes a really interesting flavour. You get the blend of the T-pan, you get the yellow drop, and again I was using chunks of apple, fresh apple, and it's a nice medium paste flavour. I think it's the T-pan give it the bite, but the lemon drops with the apple give it a really interesting kind of depth. So moving along, coming towards the end, I've got a little cheeky chaffy here, little light American tank. And this is what I did with those lovely Peruvian purples I've been growing all year. You may remember they had the most beautiful leaves, a real beautiful plant. The fruits are not that bitter, and again I used apple as a fruit medium here to take away from the kind of the bite of the Peruvian purple chili. And a beautiful colour here, look at that, that's just like a beautiful thick red clotted jam or something similar. So yeah, really happy with the chaffy. Only 5 of those. Only 5 of these as well. So we've got the IS-2 here, also known as a Stalin tank. These are some Ring of Fire that I had, and used blueberries in these. The Ring of Fire aren't that strong to begin with, and the blueberries make this actually quite a mild sauce. So this is the lower end of the scale for people who don't want to go too crazy. And only 5 of them. Coming towards the end now. The lovely old Panther tank, so your pans of 5 in effect. This is Scotch bonnet and a tropical mix. So this was a lovely old Scotch bonnets that I had from last year, and a mix of tropical fruits which give it this kind of yellowy golden colour again. A medium pace, very tasty. Yeah, quite fun that one. Again, only 4 of those, and then we're coming down to the real rare ones here. So the Brumbar, which was a little assault gun. These are what I did with the Tabascos. I was a bit disappointed by my Tabasco crop this year. There weren't many of them. They're very small and they're a bit of a pain in the arse. I won't be doing those again. So Tabasco, not a particularly hot chili in the first place. You'll have had Tabasco sauce, I'm sure, and that's mixed in with winter berries to bulk them out and give them some flavour. So this is actually a very mild sauce. Probably an entry-level sauce for anyone who's nervous of their chili sauces. And then we'll finish off with the last. There's only 4 of these in existence, so this was great fun. So I'm calling this the Tiger, the traditional Tiger, rather than the King Tiger. So this is basically everything I grew this year. So we've got Carolina Reaper, the Bujalokia, Trinidad Scorpion, red and orange habaneros, paper lantern, and Tabasco. So that's a blend, it's one of each chilies. And I used some summer fruits in there again, just as a vehicle for transmitting those flavours. And this is absolutely delicious. I've put it mid to hot heat, but this one's a real treat. I've only got 4 of these, so yeah. All right, so that's it. That's the entire crop. Oh, that's the entire crop dealt with this year. And these are all my chilies. I'll be laying these down over the winter somewhere dark and cold so they can just find their feet a bit. I checked the pH levels on all of these, so we shouldn't have any of the exploding ones that I had with my last crop, which should be good. And this will be, the, as I say, the penultimate video. The next one will be a little bit of a roundup of the year, do's and don'ts, and a bit of a retrospective. But I'm really happy with how these turned out. I hope you get a chance to share some of them with me if you're visiting, or I'll send them out where I can to anybody's up for them, and I'll resell whatever we don't use early next year, probably for Alzheimer's again. So thanks for watching, take care, bye.